When you hear that Fast and the Furious 10 is coming out, or you hear Jurassic Park 6 is coming out, you should know what to expect. Before you buy a ticket to Fast and the Furious 10, I would hope that you've seen at least one or two Fast and the Furious movies before then, but you should know what you're going to expect going into the movies. Not saying that the movie can't surprise you, not saying that the movie can't be either good or bad, but you kind of know what you're going to expect from Fast and the Furious 10. As unfortunate as it is, you can apply that same ideology to the Dolphins and Bills. Going into Thursday Night Football, I don't know if there was many people that expected a different outcome than the Buffalo Bills beating the Miami Dolphins 31-21. I think the only reason why a lot of people thought, or not a lot, back up. The reason why some people could have thought that Miami Dolphins had a chance is essentially because it's a divisional rival. And when you have these rivalry games, you never know what's going to happen. Sort of. But you're playing in Buffalo. Josh Allen's rolling. Josh Allen is an MVP candidate. This offense is rolling. The Dolphins were 0-2 going into this game. The writing was on the wall. And the analysis is mainly on the Miami Dolphins more than the Buffalo Bills, because the Buffalo Bills did exactly what you thought they would do. Josh Allen had a good game, 22 for 28, 213 yards. Didn't have to do much, scored 3 touchdowns. Had a passer rating of 134. He didn't have to do much. James Cook rushed for 108 yards, 1 touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, who's turning out to be Josh Allen's favorite target, passing-wise, had 66 yards and a touchdown. The exact way that you thought the Buffalo Bills were going to win this game is exactly how they won it. They played their brand of football. And watching this game, however, and I'm going to focus on the Buffalo Bills before I get to the Miami Dolphins. Looking at this game, however, I can see an avenue where Buffalo wins the Super Bowl. I can also see an avenue where Buffalo loses this, doesn't either loses the Super Bowl or doesn't get there. Their defense is a problem. Now, yes, I know Ed Oliver didn't play. I don't think Milano played, but their defense is a problem. Because Josh Allen and his offense can be so great, they can win a shootout like they sort of did game 1 against the Ravens. But again, the Ravens were putting BTA on the Buffalo Bills before they just fumbled it away. I don't know if this, especially the run game, I don't know if this defense can hold up enough to win them a Super Bowl. Because this is the third game in a row where, while yes, they destroyed the Jets had big plays. And I believe if they had a better quarterback, obviously Justin Fields did get hurt that game, but if they had a better quarterback, if they had a better team, things could have been different. The Miami Dolphins were in this game majority of it. Like I would say 90% of this game was close. And if they played a better team, i.e., when they played someone like the Baltimore Ravens, I think the Baltimore Ravens lost that first game more than the Buffalo Bills won it. I'm not taking away anything I'm not taking anything away from Josh Allen. I'm not taking anything away from this offense, but the defense. That was their Achilles heel last year. On top of the fact that they still really don't have a, Keon Coleman, he's good, but he's still trying to get together. Khalil Shakur, Khalil Shakur, they're still trying to. They don't have like a big name wide receiver room, which hasn't been a problem for them because they have the reigning MVP in Josh Allen, but there is a reason why Dalton Kincaid, who is a tight end, might I add, is essentially Josh Allen's favorite target. I just don't. This is the third game in the road where it feels like the defense, if the Miami Dolphins would have won this game, and obviously it didn't happen, but if they would have won this game, you look solely at the defense and be like, yeah, well, okay, this could be an issue. It's not an overall, it wasn't much of an issue this game, but you did see runs, big runs from Ollie Gordon, big runs from Devontae Achane, like big runs from Malik Washington. That could be an issue moving forward against better teams, against a Baltimore Ravens, against if they do make it to the Super Bowl, against maybe a Eagles, maybe a Green Bay Packers that have solid offensive lines, solid running backs. We're talking about Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. That when you go up against those caliber people, the defense, and again, I know Ed Oliver and I don't think Milano played, but still. That's the only concern I have from this Buffalo Bills team. You're playing on a short week, so obviously there were times when they looked a little sluggish, lethargic, rusty, but you still got the job done. And that's there's nothing surprising. You know what? I will say this. We did see a glimpse of old Josh Allen on Thursday Night Football. When Josh Allen was, closer to his rookie year and still, I'll say it like this. When Josh Allen was a turnover machine, when Josh Allen was one of those high interception players, one issue that you would have with Josh Allen is he would try to make a play out of no play. Sort of like what Caleb Williams is doing, just to a different level. He would try to throw it in tight windows, and he'll try to make these throws. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Just calm down. And there were two plays where he just flicked the ball up, like he just flicked the ball to one receiver and a running back, and both of those could have easily been intercepted. But I'm not saying that that's an issue. I'm just saying that's something that Josh Allen used to do. His improv skills is just out of this world. But there are times it's like, oh, damn. Like that's like, and one of them was in the end zone. Now think about it. Now that one could have definitely been intercepted. So just saying, that was just something to point out with the Buffalo Bills, but I'm nothing. The only thing that was kind of surprising to me is how close the game was. But again, when you're playing a divisional opponent, a divisional rival, you never really know about these games. But moving over to the Miami Dolphins side, 3 plays lost this game. Three plays dictated this game. And each one of those plays was on the Miami Dolphins. The roughing the passer, which in hindsight, you can say that it was a bang-bang call, but it's like, bro, the whistle stopped. Why are you still trying to drive Josh Allen down to the ground? Like, the whistle, I know that adrenaline starts pumping and it's probably loud, but everyone around you stopped, essentially. Why are you still trying to drag Josh Allen down? And a key stop. So roughing the passer. And I say three plays because each one of these plays, well, two of these three plays resulted in a score. And as you see, the Buffalo Bills beat them by 10 points. All right. So roughing the passer on Josh Allen. Then you force a 3-and-out. They're punting the ball, and you make contact with the punter, which gives them a fresh set of downs, penalty, which gives them a fresh set of downs. They go and score, I think, 2 plays later, maybe 3 plays later. That's 14 points. And then the third play. Before I say the third play, I want to read something. Bear with me. Short in stature with mounting durability concerns. 2 ankle surgeries, hip surgery, broken nose, and concussion as a starter, meaning there is an extensive injury history. Can improve anticipatory throws and timing. Failed to recognize easy throws to develop routes. Inconsistent, squandering feet squandering feet to backside reads. Constricted delivery limits zip he can put on throws. Forces open receivers to break stride more than he should. Poise in and out the pocket can be spotty. Hurries into frantic throws, frenetic throws, I apologize, with moderate pressure at times, so he essentially sees ghost. Fails to sit and finish when he's going to get hit, so he can't. He's too worried about the hit. Needs earlier pocket slides to stay ahead of the pressure. Now, I'm sure you guys can already guess that what I was describing was Tua Tagovailoa. What you guys may or may not know was that was his draft evaluation before the draft. Mind you, this was 2020. That was Tua Tagovailoa's pre-draft evaluation. I ask you, everything that I just read, did we not see in this game? Now, I'm not saying that you have to be bound to your pre-draft analysis. Obviously, we've seen several instances where it wasn't correct. I mean, you look at Steph Curry's pre-draft, Tom Brady's pre-draft, Patrick Mahomes' pre-draft. Not all of it is correct. But I don't think I've seen a pre-draft analysis as spot on as Tua Tagovailoa's pre-draft analysis, evaluation, if you will. Why did I bring that up? This was back in 2020. Do you realize that the Miami Dolphins signed him to an extension after knowing all this? And here's the thing. While this is a pre-draft evaluation, this isn't new. Like, the stuff that I just read still happens, which is why I read it. And it's been happening to his entire career. He's been injury prone his entire career. He's a high interception person his entire career. He's not good in the pocket when there's pressure his entire career. He's, as much as you want to label him a mobile quarterback, he's not the most mobile quarterback his entire career. And on top of that, I saw the stat, or Thursday Night Football crew showed a stat that before the game, Tua is 1-8. And I think First Things First showed it as well. Tua Tagovailoa is 1-8 against Josh Allen and the Bills in his career. 1-8. That's not good. That means that against your top opponent in the division, you essentially can't buy you've bought one win. The Bills knew this before, not Bills, I'm sorry. The Dolphins knew this before they paid him an extension. They knew he had an extensive history of injury before they paid him an extension. Now, I know that there's a philosophy of, well, if not Tua, then who? I get that. That same philosophy was kind of attached to the Trevor Lawrence contract, making him one of the highest paid players in NFL history at the time. And it's like, well, Trevor Lawrence sure as hell ain't play his way to get that contract. But then again, if not Trevor Lawrence, then who? That's the mindset. So I get that's probably the mindset that they had going in to paying Tua Tagovailoa. But I retort that by saying this, which brings me back to the third play that essentially sealed the fate for the Miami Dolphins, and that was the late game interception that Tua threw. I think there was like 3 minutes left in the game. The Dolphins were driving, had a chance to tie the game, possibly send it into overtime. 3 minutes left. Tua stares down his receiver. Mind you, Tyreek Hill is open on his left side. So if we're looking, Tyreek Hill is open. He broke and got open. Actually, scratch that. There's 2 players open on his left side. One in the flat and Tyreek Hill with a cross route. Tua, if I go back to the pre-draft analysis, it says, and I quote, can improve anticipatory throws and timing. Failed to recognize easy throws to developing routes. You have 2 wide open receivers to your left, and he never looked to his left. Instead, what he did was he stared down the receiver to the right until he thought he would be open. But that's the thing about the NFL. That's the thing about defenses. That's the thing that when you hear almost every former player from, Emmanuel Acho and LaShawn McCoy talk about it, from Cam Newton talk about it, from Ryan Clark talk about it, from Dan Orlowski talking about it, from Marcus Spears talking about it, from TJ Husmanzada talking about it, from Shannon Sharp talking about it, from Chad Ochocinco talking about it. Almost every single former athlete or NFL player has said the same thing. The defense's job, especially corners and safeties, is to read the eyes of the quarterback. And the great quarterbacks know how to deceive defenses with their eyes. The Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Patrick Mahomes, the Jalen Hurts, the Joe Burrows, the Jaden Daniels. They know how to deceive defenses with their eyes. Tua stared down. He never took his eyes off of the person he was throwing the ball to, which made the interception one of the easiest interceptions that you can have, because you know where it's, and that's the thing. Tua knows where he's trying to go. So why not at least get the defense thinking? The defense, if you're staring down an opponent, the defense knows where the ball is going. Instead, turns the ball, instead of going down and possibly playing the best game that they played all season, going down, tying up, and seeing where the overtime odds land you. You throw an interception, they get, I think, 2 first downs. The game is essentially over. The Buffalo Bills are now 3-0. The Miami Dolphins are now 0-3. I'm not solely blaming this loss on Tua Tagovailoa. What I am doing is blaming the loss on 3 plays. 2 plays, you're just not poised. Mental lapses. And then the 3rd play is, what's worse about that Tua Tagovailoa interception is who didn't see that coming? Because I know while I was watching the game, I kept saying to myself, Miami's going to do something to lose this game. This was after the roughing the passer. This was after the illegal hit from the punter. I said the Miami Dolphins Tua's going to do something. He hasn't had that Tua-like interception yet. I kept saying that throughout the entire game. I said, just wait on it. Tua is going to throw that interception. That's just what he is. That's just what he's going to do. And lo and behold. You know what the Miami Dolphins, I think, did? They looked at the first year that Tua had Tyreek Hill, and they were breaking all them offensive records. And that was also the first year Mike McDaniel was their coach. And they were lighting people up. They were breaking offensive records left and right. And I believe that's probably the season that got him paid. That's that stretch, that season, at least regular season, got him paid. And I'm not saying that he didn't deserve the money. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been paid. But what I'm saying is this. You see the 70 points they put up on the Broncos. You see the high, Tyreek Hill, I think that year led the league in passing touchdowns and passing yards. Tyreek Hill was on his way to getting 1,000 yards. Like it was a truly epic regular season. And I don't think that the people that, the Miami Dolphins brass, the GM, the owner, when they got in the room, was like, all right, Tua's up for a contract extension. Why should we pay him? What has he done for us to justify paying him? And I think that they looked at that season and was like, well, look, this when he's healthy, this is what he can do. And they probably thought to themselves, damn, you're right. Okay. Pay him. Instead of looking at the fact of you're now currently 1-9 against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. I don't think Tua has a playoff win. You know, we talk a lot about Justin Herbert. I don't think Tua has a playoff win, and if he does, actually, I don't think Tua has a playoff win. I could be wrong. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell me, but I don't think he does. And when you look at Tua Tagovailoa, right? Mind you, I just read the pre-draft. But do you think that he is a quarterback that can lead you to a Super Bowl? Lead you to let me scale down. Lead you to. I'll ask you a more direct question. The Miami Dolphins are 0-3 right now. Do you think that Tua Tagovailoa is a quarterback? Do you think that the Miami Dolphins is a team that can rally off 5 straight wins? In fact, now that we're here, the next 5 games for the Miami Dolphins is Jets, Panthers, Chargers, Browns, Falcons. From what you've seen, from what you know, do you think that what's the best you think the Miami Dolphins can go on that stretch? Again, the Jets, the Panthers, the Chargers, the Browns, the Falcons, before they have to meet the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football, I believe. What I'm saying is this. Last night's game was a divisional game, so it was going to be much closer than a lot of people thought, including myself. I didn't really take into consideration that, it is a divisional game, so both teams are going to be fired up and ready to play. But when the game was going on, outside of Miami playing their best football for essentially 3 quarters of the year, I'll say, what about that game was surprising on both sides? And from what we've seen this year, I think that's why by the end of this season, I think Tyreek Hill is going to be gone, and I'm almost sure Mike McDaniel is going to be gone. Not because they're just terrible at their jobs, just because you can't trade Tua. And while Mike McDaniel is not the greatest, the only person on that team you're essentially going to get value for is Tyreek Hill. Which I also thought it was hilarious that the Thursday Night Football crew made it a point to point out the fact that there is yet another domestic violence accusation on Tyreek Hill. And while they were talking about it, the game went to a very quick commercial break after coming out of a commercial break. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.